Well, this is what we're working on today. We're gonna get this truck ready to have the frame painted. What I'm doing now is I'm getting ready to set the hoist into place. We had an air tank mounted to this cross member. I took that off. I've got to remove the cross member. And we've got to relocate this air tank up to this cross member here. So once we get everything mounted and put into place, then we could pull the hoist back off it, leave the brackets on the frame because they'll be drilled and bolted into place, or maybe we'll just drill them and leave it, get paint on there, and then bolt them on afterwards. That's probably what we'll do. And then we'll get our brackets drilled for the hydraulic oil reservoir, do the same thing for that, get the holes drilled, leave the holes, and then bolt everything on after we paint it. Jared and Christian are doing a little maintenance to the older crawler. This crawler trailer came with the, I don't know if I put this in a video or not, but our second crawler that we just bought here about a month ago came with this trailer, and it works good to be able to move these crawlers around with. These crawlers do move on their own, but they're kind of slow and cumbersome. And even just right in the dooryard here, we'll use the trailer to get the crawlers moved around so that we're not taxing the drive motors and what have you. So what are you putting that fuel sensor on?
Yeah.
So this has a couple of different lights on a tower up on the engine cowling. There's like 4 different lights there. Low oil, low hydraulic oil, low fuel, hot hydraulic oil, and whatever. And those lights will flash a different color according to the sensor that's on there. So he's putting a new sensor in for the fuel. There's fuel tanks on both sides. Somebody asked what this holds for fuel. Do you know?
Maybe 50 gallons if it's lucky.
50 on both tanks, or?
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't hold a lot.
Yeah.
The other one has bigger tanks.
Oh, the other one's got bigger tanks. Huh.
Yeah, they're like that much taller.
Oh, are they? Yeah. So we're not sure on how much it actually holds. But we better get to work here. We're jaw jacking too much. We've got some tractor maintenance going on outside here. It is Saturday, February, I don't know, 9th, 10th, something like that. And it's like 50 some degrees out here. So Andrew and Teddy, they're doing an oil change on this tractor. And because it's so nice out, they're doing it right outside. Aren't you?
Yeah.
Getting everything swapped out here, huh? Got the oil plug back in?
Yeah.
You do?
No, not yet. But...
No, don't have it in yet? You don't want to put all that new oil on the ground?
No, we don't.
No?
That wouldn't be right.
You got the PTO filter on without any problem?
Yeah. Put it right on.
Yeah. All right. Alright, so we've got this tank ready to be relocated. We're going to mount it to the top of this next cross member. Got to drill a couple of holes down through that, and we can bolt the brackets to it, get the tank back into place. Then this one hose I got to shorten up, and the other one I'm going to have to lengthen. So we'll get the holes drilled and get the tank mounted. Now we'll work on getting this cross member removed. Once we get this cross member removed, we can set the hoist in there, get our brackets drilled for the hoist mount, then pull the hoist back off, get our holes drilled for the hydraulic reservoir, and then we can get some POR on this frame and then get a top coat of black paint on it. Hey, hold up a minute. That doesn't sound right. Well, we've got this air tank repositioned. I got one line left to hook up. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that hoist in, set it on the truck frame. Now we've got a couple of angle irons that we need to get setting into place. We'll just kind of use the hoist so that we get the angle irons right where we want them. Drill them, get them bolted. We can lift the hoist back out of the frame just so that we don't get paint on the hoist. And put that out of the way, and then we can reset that hoist onto the frame once everything is all paint. If we leave the hoist on the frame, we won't be able to get paint inside the frame rail right there all that well. Just gonna end up getting black paint all over the hoist. It'd be kind of nice to leave that blue like it is, although it is rather dirty. So we'll bring that in, drop that down into the frame, and get it squared up and situated so that we can go through and drill our holes for the angle iron mounts that bolt to the truck frame, and then the hoist will weld to the angle iron mounts.
plywood all over the same spot. You could only put the plywood on one way. All the holes are the same way. You have everything you need to get this done if you want.
Well, we've got the hoist setting in place. It's pretty well squared itself up. We've got a piece of angle iron that the hoist is going to weld to. However, what we need to do is we need to drill the holes in the truck frame so that we can mount that angle iron to the truck frame. So we'll get the holes drilled. We could actually weld everything all together. Maybe I'll just do it that way, weld everything all together, and then just unbolt it and pull it all off as one. We could actually do it that way as well, but it is a little harder to get underneath the hoist, so we'll cross that road when we get to it, but we need to get these holes drilled right now. All right, we are set up to drill these holes now. We're using this V-bore mag drill. Well, we broke that bit. We're into some rust, so that's going to drill a little harder. We're going to have to clean that hole out and get back into it here with another bit.
sitting on top of it, if you're gonna put it on the fuel tank. I don't know, I got,
I was gonna put it right on this plate that this, exhaust is mounted to.
yeah, hey, what's the bottom jacking lift up on it?
Right here.
That's good.
Alright, so we broke that guy. Now I have to move our drill out of the way and dig that guy out. Well, there's our broken piece there. So we might have a slug in there. And that's what we have. We gotta clean that slug out.
This other bottom jack.
You need to
What?
you need the farm card,
For what?
tools.
I don't think so.
You guys aren't leaving yet, though.
No, I was walking auto.
One that you rescued that you're talking about? Is that white one the one that you rescued?
Yeah. It'll be good.
Alright, so we've got a new bit installed in this little guy.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Where are we here? Right there. Somewhere around there. We'll get our safety strap installed. Yeah. I've got to reattach the angle iron here in a minute. But being that we know where this hole is, we're going to just go right into it. I need some light. Oh, come on. All right. Alright, we got a hole blown through there. Now we'll have to get our angle iron back in place and start over with them other two holes there.
High enough that you think.
Nice thing about this drill is it's light.
It's pretty high. Right? Or no?
I can't really know where it was.
What happened to my 3/4? I put it back because I sold the impact, so I could use it to put this in. I didn't want to just throw it on the ground. Oh, remember how we thought I had lost her? Oh God, where is it? 3/8. 5/8. She got lost, yes. Give me this one. Where did you find it? It's right fucking here. You fucking asshole. Oh, that's nice. Glad to have that back. That was my original one. I never lost that one. Yeah. Oh. What? I think that's an electric bolt. Probably.
Well, I don't know what the battery caught there, or what the camera caught, but the battery went dead on us. So I had to, in order to drill that last hole, I was going to have to flip the drill over. The handle would have hit the damn hoist. So we marked it with a cordless drill, pulled the angle iron off, stuck it to the truck frame direct, and we've got the 3 holes drilled for this side. Now we'll go over and we'll do the same thing to the other side. I'll do what probably you guys didn't see on camera, and I'll vice grip the angle iron to it. I'll just take the cordless drill, got a 1/2 inch bit in it, just mark the holes. They'll automatically be center punched because that's a 1/2 inch hole in the angle iron, and the drill is going to leave an indentation rather than trying to get a center punch in there and get it centered. We'll just mark it with a regular drill, pull the angle iron off, and then we can walk right down through there with the mag drill and drill those 3 holes on the other side. Now, I don't like the 1/2 inch bolts that they send with these angle irons. We usually upsize the hole to 5/8 and run a 5/8 bolt in there. So we'll drill the rest of the 1/2 inch holes, and then we'll upsize that hole to a 5/8. Well, we've got our 6 holes drilled, 3 on a side. Now we just need to upsize them. I have this old Milwaukee drill. This is a 13 amp drill. It's got quite a bit of torque, and you really need to hold on to it. We're only upsizing from 1/2 to 5/8, so we haven't got a huge bit in there. But every once in a while, we'll throw an 1.5 inch reamer in there to ream out larger holes. And you want to hold on to it. You want to hold on to it real good, or else it'll whip you right around. So we'll get these reamed, and then we'll get the hydraulic tank mounted. Just want to make sure we get it in the right hole, you know? Well, we've just about got this ready to be able to throw some POR onto it. I've got one more hole to drill for that bracket. That's where the hydraulic tank is going to set. This is a Williams tank and valve. Well, I don't even know if it's Williams anymore, but that's what they used to use. Valve is on top of the tank. We've got a gear pump to install on the PTO yet. These brackets are more or less designed to have the tank mounted the other way on the inside of the frame rail, but it just works better to have it mounted on the outside. We're using a remote mounted hydraulic pump, which that's all anybody should be using anymore. But some of the older style setups like this, it ran a PTO shaft, or a shaft from the PTO back to a piston pump that was mounted inside the tank. They were a Mickey Mouse system that was adapted years ago on these trucks, and everybody has more or less gone to a gear pump with that style tank. This valve I've never used before, but it's similar to the valves that we have had used in the past. Got regular air shift slaves on there, so we don't have to put a shift cylinder on the valve at all. But what we're going to do here after we get that hole drilled is we're going to weld the lower hoist mount to these angle irons on each side. Then we'll just unbolt the lower mount of the hoist, lift the hoist off, and then spray on our POR. So let's get this last hole drilled. Alright, that's what that looks like on there. So we'll get our hoist mounts welded. Alright, so we are one step closer to getting some paint on this. We've got our hoist mounts welded down. We're gonna pull this hoist off so that we can get paint on everything without worrying about getting paint on the hoist. Now it is Monday now. We did a fair amount of this work here on Sunday. And you'll see that we've got a four-wheel drive in here that needs attention. We did work on that briefly here a little while ago and found out it needs a little more work than what I anticipated on, so I jumped back onto this. We need to get this ready for paint. We'll get that done and then we'll jump back over onto that and we'll explain what's going on with that tractor in the next video. So this needs some torque rod arms that go to the differential that kind of stabilize everything here. The forward one on this rear axle is the mounts all rotted out. Some of the rubber parts of the bushings on these torque rods have deteriorated. So we ended up ordering some new ones, and there are 4 of them on the floor there. We've got 2 that go on the front one and 2 that go on the back one. So we'll get this hoist off, get that kicked outside, start heating up these bolts, get these torque rods off, and get this thing closer to being able to be painted here. All right, believe it or not, we were able to get these bolts out without adding any heat to them. I didn't really want to get the big torch down in here and be replacing air hoses. So I do happen to notice that the torque rods didn't come with the nut for this larger bolt. So we're going to try to get that off cold without heating anything up. We've got a torque multiplier here. This is a 4-to-1 torque multiplier. And this is capable of doing 2,000 foot-pounds. So we're going to hook I don't know if I can get a ratchet on that end or if I got to use a breaker bar, but either or, we're going to give that a try and see if we can't bust these nuts loose without adding any heat. I've added just a little bit of lubricant and that is basically it. Wow. Alright, that busted that loose. I don't think I put any more than 600-700 foot-pounds of torque on it, judging by how much pull I put on this breaker bar. Or on the, but you know what? Alright, we're going to throw this guy on there. I find that hard to believe that these are coming apart as easy as they are. But, I mean, The amount of rust that's on here, I can't believe it. I have to get this off without cutting it because I have to have the nut. Yeah, it is surprising. I put that torque multiplier on there thinking I was going to need extra torque to get it off, but I don't think I needed it. I only think that, you know, probably a big breaker bar would have been enough. But get this guy off without screwing up the nut. Make sure you keep your nuts in order. Alright, look at that. It's like this was just put on yesterday, you know. All these bolts came out easy. Alright, so that wasn't really a challenge of any kind. The next challenge is going to be getting that to come out of that differential, to come out of there. So we've got another one back here. And this is a lock nut. I don't know if it's the same size, but we're going to try it without baby. I can't move it with a ratchet. Give me that breaker bar there, Hoss.
Don't hurt yourself.
Alright. Let's try this breaker bar. I just want to see how much is really on there, you know?
Yeah.
Ah! Oh, God.
Wow.
It didn't need much at all. You believe that? I bought that torque multiplier for this job,
You
man.
don't even need it.
I don't even need it. What? I can't believe this. This is easy stuff. So we'll get this spun off, and then it's probably going to be a little bit of a challenge to get these out of the differential. Who knows? They might break free. Whack it with a big old hammer, right?
I think so.
Yeah, toss me a hammer. See if I can't knock that one loose. I got them 5/8 bolts that are still in there. Oh, I hit the wrong object. I think it'll move. Oh, I gotta watch it. I got some movement on this rear end. I probably better get the torque rods that go forward and back. Might have to put a little heat on it. She's loose. All right, so we'll get this nut off. That broke loose. However, these 5/8 or M16s are still in there. Therefore, it won't allow it to walk out of it. So we'll get this other one off. break that loose, and then we can start reassembling here. Alright, so we've got one more to bust loose. And we'll go ahead and whack that out of there. We're going to take a grinder to that guy because somebody hit it with a sledgehammer. And we've got the bolts that bolt that to the truck frame. We've got those removed, so all we have to do is basically whack on that. Maybe I can do it with a small hammer. And maybe I won't have to climb up on that. What did you weigh after you emptied? Oh. Would you just leave it down there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll have to weigh it in the morning. Like, man, that's hard. It spun easy. You go then this one back here, I went with a breaker bar. You gotta fork them on. Yeah, I'll put it on. Oh, man. Could be bad. Pull that hose out of the way. You know that, there we go. Oh, yeah? I don't know if they're going to get, it'd be nice to get one of them, I don't know what they call them for these. There is a special fucking thing. Alright, that guy come right out of there without any heat. I had a couple of little bracket style fittings. I had one here, one over there, and I thought sure as hell that I would clean that off with a hammer trying to get in there. So we removed them so that we didn't break them. So the next step would be to throw them new parts in there, and then this will be ready for some paint like we talked about. But I didn't have to use any heat on the back end here. I could not believe that. So, we'll start reassembling here. Well, we are finally ready for some paint here. We covered up our tail hinge holes just because I do not want to get any of that POR 15 in these holes. So, we've got that taped. We ended up putting a couple of D-rings on the rear end there, so when we get this truck stuck, we can go ahead and have something to hook onto to pull it out. We've got our torque rods in place. We replaced all 4 of them. And I can't believe everything came apart without any heat. Usually with that much rust, you end up having to get the torches out to heat everything up. We had a couple of saddles that were bad. We ended up replacing all of them. I only originally had one saddle that I bought new. I seen that one was deteriorated. To be honest with you, they probably didn't have to be replaced. It was just the pieces in between, the 2 bolts that were rotted a little bit, but they are replaced here right now. We'll get everything sprayed with POR, we'll get paint over the top of it, and then we'll let it sit. And here tomorrow afternoon, or whatever, we can set the hoist in place, the tank, and get it all going together. Now you'll happen to notice that the transmission jacks are ready to be put back up into pallet racking. That is because Jared's got that transmission all setting into place. We've got a transmission jack and we've got a clutch jack too. So we'll go over next door here and we'll just kind of show you that they are wrapping up this job here. They're hooking up drive shafts and air tanks and stuff like that, and they are just about done. So we're gonna go ahead and spray on some POR 15. What I plan on doing between the POR and the paint is we're going to go over into working on this tractor, which you guys won't see till after this video. For those of you who know what's in those two boxes. So yeah, let's get it going here. All right, so we have the POR 15 applied and I waited for it to tack up. And it's got a little moisture to it, but it's not too bad. We're just gonna come over the top of it with some flat black. We put it on there pretty thick and pretty heavy. Some of it's dripping down on the floor, but that just lets you know that you got enough product on there. We went through just shy of a gallon, so we are a little heavy. But the reason why you have to, or actually we probably wouldn't have to put anything over the top of this. However, the ultraviolet rays from the sun will turn this black to a gray. You're not gonna get a lot of sunlight on the side of the frame rails that much because you're gonna have the box over the top of it, so we probably wouldn't have to put anything on it. But we're going to, just so that the frame doesn't turn gray. We don't have to put too much on the inner frame rail and on the differentials or anything, but we're just gonna splash it on anyway. We have found with this POR 15 that it is best to get your top coat on when the POR is at this stage, because this stuff dries, and when it dries it is so hard that the paint has nothing to bite to and the paint will actually fall off. We've had that problem in the past. So we'll go ahead and get this sprayed and let it dry overnight, and then we can pull this out. And we're gonna switch bays here. They're gonna bring that truck 12 next door so that they can get the oil changed on it and just bring the oil hose over right to the engine and pump the oil in it right from the barrel, which is on the other side of that 9410. So we'll get this sprayed. We'll show you what it looks like after we get it sprayed, and then we'll close out of this video. All right, so we've got this flat black all applied. We've got some of it has gone on there so thick that it's starting to run down off onto the floor, which is all right. That means you know that you've got enough on there. So that is gonna do it for this video. When we get back to working on this, we'll work on it after we get this 9410 done. We can set the hoist on there, put our hydraulic oil reservoir on. We've got a different gear pump to mount on the transmission. We've got some air lines to hook up to the toggle switches that come out of the cab that go over to the reservoir, the shift cylinders on the reservoir. We've got some hydraulic plumbing to do with the hoist, and we've got to add on to the hoses that go to the tailgate. And once we get that stuff done, then we can set the box onto the frame of the truck. We'll have to get this tail hinge married up to it. I did order some pins that are the right size, 2 3/4 inch, along with some DOM tubing to run down off of the box of the truck. The box that came off of this truck, that video aired here last night. That box sold this morning. A local guy bought that, and so that box has been sold. So with that being said, that is gonna do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one.